From the Court of Appeal, from our correspondent Sophie Hutchinson. Probably two people that most people haven't heard of. Sophie, explain what's happened here and why she and her legal team feels she's been successful this morning.
Sure. Well, Katrin Radmacher is perhaps one of Germany's wealthiest women, and she married her husband just over 10 years ago, a French banker. But they got married here in London, and they lived mainly in London during the course of their marriage, and they had two children. Now, before they married, 4 months before they married, they signed a prenuptial agreement. Both parties said that they had no claim on the other's finances, so that if it ever came to divorce, neither would get a financial settlement. Well, later on, now that they are getting divorced, the husband in this case, who is no longer a banker but is a university researcher, has decided that actually he does want what he thinks is his rightful share of the money, and she has been fighting this all along. She's obviously an extremely wealthy woman, but she says, you know, that there was a prenuptial agreement. Now, the settlement today, her lawyers are claiming they have had a victory, and I think it's a partial victory. I think that her husband will be getting some money, but it will be a reduced amount of money. I think what is really interesting, though, for everybody living in this country, is really about the comments that these appeal court judges have made here today about prenuptial agreements.
Yes, and explain a little bit more about that, because am I right in saying that in this case the heiress argued that in France or in Germany, where the couple are from, they would be binding, but of course here technically they're still not?
Yes, I think what the appeal court judges have said here is, obviously it remains that prenuptial agreements are not binding in this country, but it's all about how much weight they are giving. There are all sorts of circumstances that judges need to take into consideration when they're working out these divorce cases and the financial settlements. And a prenuptial agreement, as the judge said today, Lord Justice Thorpe, has become is being given greater weight. There is a clear trend towards that, he has said. I mean, he has also made it clear that they have to be properly negotiated and fair. And he said that wholesale reform, where a prenuptial agreement was completely binding, is really for Parliament. It's not for judges. And in terms of the way the law stands at the moment, he said that as long as they seem to be reasonable, then increasing weight can be given to them for these financial settlements. He says he doesn't accept that those wanting prenups, as they're called, are predominantly male, super rich, anxious to ensure that their marriage will not be too expensive. And he insists that there are couples where it would really help them to have an agreement rather than go through the courts.
Sophie, thank you for now. Sophie Hutchinson.